just so brilliant, all tangled together. Like, and many Sonic games, I think that doesn't really showcase that. Like, I'll say that Sonic 3 Knuckles Death Egg Zone was pretty good. Can't really think of any much others. Like other last levels are kind of like, oh yeah, I have that good feeling inside that I can just run through the whole level. But definitely not Scrap Brain Zone. That's what I really loved about Scrap Brain Zone.
Well, you know, that's a good point. Presentation is the key. In games like Sonic, you know, where you get deaths like that, that's awesome. You should die in the last level no matter how good you are, just because it's the last level, you know, it's the presentation. It's like, what is a hedgehog doing in this factory? You know, that's such a good feeling. This level reminds me of a lot of different stages from Phantasy Star. Phantasy Star 2, actually, back on the Genesis. And it had that technological doomsday feel to it, and that's how the last level should be in any game. I really agree with that. You know, we have this stage, we have the Death Egg in Sonic 2, we have Doomsday, Death Egg again, basically. Doomsday Zone in Sonic 3, we got in Knuckles, we have Panic Puppet Zone in Sonic 3D Blast, which to me, it should have been switched around. I think Gene Gadget Zone should have been the climax, not Panic Puppet, but that's just my opinion. Sonic Adventure, we had the Final Egg, yeah. That one to me was like, it was a blast from the past. That one, it took elements from all the old classic final stages, turned them into 3D, gave it some really cool hip music, and then just like put it out there as like one of the best climax stages I've seen in a long time. Then we have the Arc, which to me was a little boring, I'm not gonna lie. But it was a pretty good climax stage. It's just, to me, it just lacked some action. But at the same time, it was a space colony arc. It was shut down for 50 years, so I guess it should be a little boring and old-fashioned. So, but anyway, my point is, you get some really good climax stages in Sonic games, and Sonic 1 is definitely no exception.
So, we've nearly getting straight to the final boss for Scrap Brain Zone Act 2, and we have been mentioning about lost levels and stuff. And do you think that lost levels shown a lot more platforming sense or more speed sense to the lost levels from the actual levels you was mentioned from the other games?
Definitely more platforming. Tons more platforming. In fact, not just platforming, but very careful platforming. This reminds me of the final stage on Mario World, where, you know, if you're not careful, there's so many different ways to go, and if you're not careful, you can fall to your death or get hit by something really lame, get crushed by one of those rocks with the faces on it. It's the same thing here, where it's like, you have to be very careful. You've been hit probably at least 20 times just in the 2 minutes you've been playing this stage.
Yeah.
Just imagine if there weren't rings for you to grab, if there weren't enough rings for you. You know, if this was Mario, you would have died multiple times because he can only take 2 hits. Luckily, this is Sonic.
Yeah, definitely. Because there's so much stuff happening in this Scrap Brain Zone that's making me always trying to stop my speed. And yes, there is like an optional like thing for me to actually just blast through this with whole speed, but at the same time, I don't really play this game every day, so I don't really remember everything like when I was playing it that was coming at me. So I had to always stop, because the first time you ever play this game, you definitely need to stop a lot and just take a lot of patience with it, because that if you don't take a lot of patience and you're very impatient to actually complete this level, you're going to lose your rings a lot.
You're right. Patience is the key when it comes to these last levels, the platforming. Like even like with Sonic 4, with I don't remember the stage. I do remember that it's just like Metropolis Zone from Sonic 2. You have to take your time. Otherwise, like if you go too fast, you know, there's a setup, and one of those guys will throw his, you know, whatever he's it's like a praying mantis. He'll throw his spikes at you, and then boom, you're dead because you fell out of the air. All your rings are gone, and you can't recover.
And like one of the setups that Sonic 1 did that I haven't mentioned yet, and it was about the two spikes setup. And basically, they would plant one spike that you jump over, but if you jump too high, you land onto the second spike. And because of the recovery on Sonic is so fast, you drop back onto the first spike and you die. Many people found that cheap, but I found that quite interesting, as like the recovery was so fast. And like in Sonic 2 and Sonic 3, they actually nerfed it, like, and your recovery is much more longer, like for Sonic 2 and Sonic 3.
Right.
And it made it much more easier to actually tackle through it.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Me personally, I never got, killed by that. I've seen it because I've done the little cheat. I don't know if you know about this, but there's a cheat where when you're going through the demo mode, if you hold a certain button, Sonic plays really dumb, and he just gets hit, and he just jumps on one set of spikes, falls on the other, and dies. I'm like, whoa, you can do that. And that's never happened to me, but I could see where people would think it's a cheap death, but if it doesn't happen that often, to me it's not cheap. But yeah, you're right, the recovery it takes a lot longer in the newer classic games, and it does make it easier, which for me was a warm welcome. No complaints there, from the ages of like 3 to 13 or 15 or heck 23 for that matter. But I always enjoy a good challenge, so to me, throw as many things as you can in the physics to trip me up, and I'm okay with it.
And just to point out, when you were talking there, is that was the first time I've ever got killed by that final boss that we're playing as now, because I think that was a foolish mistake by me, because normally the actual tip for this final boss is to stand in the middle and just quickly jump, and if you just start walking to the side when he's about to slam you down, you're normally gonna die. And I just got lucky in this second part, because like I just noticed that he was gonna slam down in the middle most of the time. But definitely one of the tips is to jump first and just to slide out the way. And I just didn't do that when I first died there.
I bet that speed dash would have been a warm welcome for you in this stage.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorite last bosses, like in any Sonic game, because the actual climax of this was very deep, very satisfying, because the 0 rings, and many people enjoyed the final boss for Sonic 2 because you had no rings as well. Not only you had to face Dr. Robotnik at the end, but you had to face Silver Sonic, which was like the prototype of Metal Sonic, I think.
Right. That's exactly right. And that was the first time we ever see a sub-boss. Which was, I just realized I've never seen that little animation with the Chaos Emeralds. I've never seen that before. Wow, that was pretty cool. But anyway, as I was saying, Silver Sonic was the first time we ever see a sub-boss, and it's pretty much, it gives momentum to the series because we see it in pretty much every game after that, for the most part, anyway. And to me, that adds to replay value. That's just interesting altogether to have a boss, and then you're like, oh, there's this little silver hedgehog, and then boom, he's not the final boss. It's actually Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
So we have completed Sonic 1, and what's your thoughts over this whole Let's Play we've been going through with Sonic 1, and any different thoughts of Sonic 1 now?
It's just like I remember, except that last cutscene with the Chaos Emeralds. I don't know if I know I've collected all 6 emeralds before, but I don't think I've just beat in the game. I think I just collected them and it was like, turn it off. Of course, there's no save feature in this game. But I've never seen that cutscene before, and it makes me wonder, like, what just happened here? I saw the screen flash, and it's like, what happened? So now I have to do some research.
Yeah, just the world coming back to normal, really. It kind of has that same effect like in Sonic CD, when like, you know, the ending animation when Sonic's defeating those enemies and then you just see them flowers pop out of nowhere.
Nope, never beat Sonic CD either. Yeah.
You gotta beat that game someday.
One day I will.
Apparently got revamped on digital release, so you could check that out as well.
Definitely. The reason why I never beat Sonic CD was just because of the difficulty, but the new version is just so awesome. You get the spin dash now, like the real spin dash. So I am definitely going to check it out.
Okay, cool. So any last words?
Here's to Sonic 1, man. This game that started it all.
Yeah. And we are done for Sonic the Hedgehog. And thanks for TK being a great guest. Great points for you there. And gameplay provided by me this time. I don't know if I'll do any other ones, but this is definitely one I did enjoy doing. And kudos to Sifboy26 for his advertisement for our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/Sifboy26. So keep rocking on that, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.